Non-boomers of Reddit, what's your most boomer opinion?
Not everything needs to be filmed and put on the internet.
Just because we have access to instant communication doesn't mean I'm obligated to message you back immediately.
I don't want my damn refrigerator connected to the internet. It has one job.
My back hurts. Edit. Thanks for the awards.
Get off my lawn.
I hate how literally everything these days has a stupid app that you need to have in order to use it. Everything from kids' toys to freaking cars needs some sort of crappy app these days. Why? What if you plan on having this item for a long while and the app either gets deleted, gets malware, or just doesn't function due to the company not updating it? You would have to throw it out, causing more waste in this world. This is planned obsolescence just disguised as being technologically advanced. Edit. Okay, I get why apps exist now. It is to mine data, but can people stop commenting that now? Thanks.
People use their phones too much, particularly for texting and social media. Getting upset because your girlfriend/boyfriend hasn't texted you back for a few hours, or hasn't liked your photo, is so unhealthy.
Teenagers are scary. Edit, mainly in groups of 3+.
No phones when you're eating with someone.
There's too many subscription services for beep. It's nice to have access to unlimited movies and TV, but for the most part I wind up just watching the same sitcom over and over to decompress after work. I wonder how much I could have saved by just getting B99 and King of the Hill box sets instead of paying for Hulu for 4 years. And anything where they mail you a box of curated crap every month is absolutely unnecessary. Toot beep sweet.
Physical keyboards are better.
When you have friends over, you're not supposed to be on the phone all the time. Just talk, go outside, play games.
Social media was a beep mistake. I genuinely think that it is single-handedly one of, if not the most damaging thing to the world that's happened in the past however many years.
Country music has gotten worse. Edit. I was so confused why I had 60-some notifications when I logged in. Tears of joy. Thanks for the awards.
Absolutely everything is disposable nowadays. Nothing is made to last anymore. If you find something you like, it'll be worn out in a year and probably not made anymore when you want to buy a replacement. It's the absolute worst with clothes and kids' toys. With kids' toys, by giving them such disposable toys, it discourages them from being nice with and taking care of their possessions. Why does it matter when it's going to get worn out so quickly and they'll be bought a replacement? I also think it's a shame that these kids won't have their toys to pass on to their own children because it couldn't last. Fun fact: jeans originally became so popular because of the durability and affordability. They really appealed to the working class man whose clothes were constantly getting worn out and didn't have the money to constantly spend on new clothes. Now if you want a pair of jeans of that quality, it's $60 plus dollars. Edit. While I appreciate all the suggestions on good jeans, I don't actually wear them because I absolutely despise the feeling of denim. I've tried many different pairs of varying brands and qualities, and I just don't like the material. It's a texture thing.
Quit spending money on stupid stuff that you won't want in a year and put it towards saving for the future.
People are way too overprotective of kids these days. It's making for anxious adults who aren't confident in their own abilities. I grew up underneath a helicopter parent who was way too overprotective. I have to actively force myself to not be that way with my kids. Which, maybe I've swung too far in the opposite direction, but I really want my kids to do things on their own and not be 18 years old on the highway having a panic attack because they don't know what to do with a flat tire. Not my finest moment. I also want to be able to freaking leave my kids in the car for 2 minutes while I step inside the gas station to pay for my gas when the card reader outside is down. To me, it's not worth the damned hassle to get both kids out of the car, herd them inside, make sure they keep their sticky fingers to themselves just to pay for gas. I always end up going to a different station if that's the case. I remember being 8 years old, bored in the grocery store and given my mom's keys to sit in the car and read. Can't do that today. It's child abuse via neglect. Come on, I don't do these things, not because it makes my kids safer, but because it lessens the chance that I'll be investigated for something that I don't think is inherently wrong. I sometimes feel like the equivalent of the old lady whining about kids these days. I'll be 33 in a month, by the way.
I'd really enjoy some social security.
I don't like ebooks. I only read books that are printed on paper. It's just much more satisfying.
A 9 p.m. bedtime is perfectly reasonable.
Parents giving their little kids iPads to entertain them is so weird, especially on holidays. Just talk to each other or play something together. It just seems like the parents want to get rid of the kid. It cannot be good for the poor child's development.
Posting your kids on social media.
That society is slowly putting much more emphasis on people accepting their faults than working on them.
Communities within neighborhoods would be lovely. My mom talks about it all the time, but it's something I've never experienced myself. Like, we know our neighbors, but that's about it. I'd love to live on a street or in a suburb where people have little get-togethers, street parties for big events, or just generally know and look out for each other on a more meaningful level.
People's driving is getting progressively worse. I have to honk at someone a few times a week to move at a green light because they have to check Facebook every time they stop.
Kids absolutely shouldn't have cell phones or tablets or whatever thing like that.
Kids under 12 years old should not have a smartphone or tablet. If they need to call somebody, get them a flip phone and have them memorize their parents' and close contacts' numbers. Edit, I do know that flip phones can memorize numbers. What I am saying is that children should learn to memorize numbers that are close to them in case of emergency.
The only boomer opinion I can see myself having is understanding the value of a good orthopedic bed and pillow. My granddad used to talk about this a lot. My chronic pain kicks the crap out of me unless I'm comfortable.
M29. If the conversation is going to take more than 3 to 5 texts, or emails, just call me. Social media is bad for your health. Social media is not real life. Never take anything said on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit seriously. Kids these days need to go play outside more. Participation trophies are stupid. This is coming from someone who had a few as a kid. Taxes aren't hard to figure out, especially if you don't own a house.
5-year-olds don't need smartphones.
The internet is ruining kids' minds, particularly YouTube because of influencers. I'm glad the YouTube I grew up with in 2010 to 2015 was just mostly harmless stuff. Of course people like JStation and other influencers existed, but they were nowhere near as big as they are now and were a few years back.
Call people if it's urgent, text if you want a response later. It's like a house phone and a letter. Lots of young people get anxiety when their phone rings. I see them stare at their phones waiting for the ringing to stop and then text to reply. Why are you calling? Because sometimes it's a better way to relay information and it's more personal.
Mind your own damn business and stop involving yourself in the lives of others you don't know. Just beep off.
People take message apps way too personally. Crying over being left unread because someone hasn't responded in a couple of hours is just pathetic. Just because somebody hasn't checked their messages in a day doesn't mean they are ghosting you either. Stop trying to normalize your phone addiction by painting people who aren't as addicted as bad people, or accuse them of neglectful behavior or abandonment. Message apps can be exhausting for some people. Not everyone feels like texting 24/7. If it's a thing that requires immediate response or an emergency, you just call. Phones can do that.
Our society is way too materialistic. Most people can't go 1 year without upgrading their phone or buying the latest and greatest GPU. Your last year's model will work just fine.
Just because I disagree with your opinion doesn't mean I hate you. I don't need to agree with everything just to be politically correct. You can still disagree and be cordial. We seem to have forgotten that.
Damn kids need to stay off my lawn.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to subscribe to Upvote for the best quality content every day.